Hey, how goes it? Ken Bozak here to talk about Bitcoin and Bitcoin accessories. And today I'm with my bro Sean from
Hey,
JustLearnCrypto.com. How goes it, bro?
I'm doing pretty good, man. I'm still recovering from Satoshi's ball. That was a wicked night.
Yeah, dude. Speaking of Satoshi's Ball, you brought our guest on the show. Why don't you go ahead and introduce our guest, one of the sponsors of Satoshi's Ball?
Yeah, so we're here with CEO and founder of AERYUS.io. They were a huge supporter of Satoshi's ball. Unfortunately, they weren't able to come out, but they were definitely there in spirit. So yeah, we're here with Nicholas. Nicholas, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about how you got started into crypto, and let us know what the starting point for AERYUS was, and like what kind of brought you to starting that project.
Awesome. First off, want to thank you and Ken for having me on. Also, congratulations on the inaugural event of Satoshi's Ball. Can't wait to help you guys out and get into doing another one. And looking forward to seeing what the future holds for Satoshi's Ball, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a
I,
lot of people looking forward to the next one already. I think Sean needs a little bit of a break before planning the next one.
I need at least 2 days.
you got 24 hours.
Yeah, then I'm on it again.
So yeah, what was your rabbit hole experience like? What got you into cryptocurrencies?
Yeah, man. So, I've been around this space for quite a while. I've been a Linux and Unix admin since the dawn of like the dark, no, since about 97, 98, when I first started playing around and built my first Linux box. And, all the way up until probably around 2010, 2011, I had always been into data security and data science and started to hear little rumblings about blockchain from way back then. So it wound up being one of those things where a friend of mine introduced me to Ripple Labs back in 2012, 2013. And, little do people remember about Ripple Labs, but there was actually a mining client that came out, and I started mining Ripple like way, way, way back then.
No way.
Wow, when you could.
Yeah, before
When
people
you
knew they hated it.
Yeah, before people knew they hated it, and it's legit. Probably, it was pretty crazy. It was my first little dive into mining, and I actually wound up going from there to mining Ethereum really early on. So my experience came from the development side and mining cryptocurrencies and getting to know the blockchain from that perspective.
Awesome.
5, 6 years ago.
That's awesome, man. You were in at like the ground floor. That's really great. So, did you have you been hodling this whole time? Like, have you been? What's been kind of your strategy?
Yeah, have you
throughout?
been trading, or what's sort of like your use for cryptocurrencies?
So, I'm a technology guy, so I've dabbled in trading. I'm more of the guy that's, has the hodl approach to cryptocurrency. I think that the utility of cryptocurrency is so powerful that it's going to just be a matter of time before somebody comes along
Oh,
with the enter areas.
absolutely, man. Absolutely. Any ICOs that you got involved in the heyday of 2017?
Yeah, so a little early on, I got involved with some guys that were launching a project called WorldBit. It was pretty cool. Augmented reality smartphone application, basically a eBay meets Craigslist
Okay.
with the augmented reality map. Kind of dropping objects to buy and sell goods and
Right, like if
services.
you
And
wanted to buy a used car, you may want to get a 3D look of the car, the bumper, fender, front end.
it's pretty crazy. Yeah, so those guys they're still kicking, still working hard, and I kind of went off and through some of the really challenging times that lied ahead in crypto, decided to launch my own project, which is what we're looking at today. Arius is is my baby.
What is your baby? Why don't you go ahead and explain AERYUS to the listeners? I've seen that you've gone through your private sale, your public sale, and you're a quarter of the way through your crowd sale already. What is AERYUS? What do you do, and how do you do it?
So, my approach was a lot different as it related to blockchain because, for me, I wanted to create a really good use case. Mass adoption tool I thought was going to be really important to the people that were involved in blockchain and in the cryptocurrency space overall. So for me, it was important to build an application or an application infrastructure that would really support people like all of the cryptosphere. Anybody that has a project, I wanted to be able to foster that project. I wanted to be able to spread that project out to the masses. And that's how I've come to know open source technology for the past 20 years as an opportunity to really spread a message and to collaborate with a larger community. And that's one of the main reasons that, like my friends and my family from Kubo and my friends from Epic, that joined in on with us this evening, they're good examples of what it is that AERYUS intends to do with blockchain and the cryptosphere in general.
Awesome. So what problems are you solving? I know you guys have a couple different legs of AERYUS, so run through like the main problems that you saw and how you guys plan on solving them.
Yeah, I mean, the legacy system issues that you're solving utilizing blockchain technology is really interesting.
Yeah, so legit, like our flagship product is really our chain payments app that we're putting out, and chain payments is essentially smartphone app for peer-to-peer cryptocurrency exchange. And also in 2019, a merchant, application that we can actually use a smartphone app, walk into, retail locations and essentially any of the cryptocurrencies that are accepted on our platform can be intelligently selected by the application using AI to pay for, a cup of coffee, or, a car, for instance.
That's awesome, man. I mean, that's honestly like something that, we have a couple companies in Canada that are trying to kind of hit that market as well. And it's something that's really needed, man. That's going to be like a huge tool to drive mass adoption for, people to be able to be walking down the street and see in all these businesses that, they accept cryptocurrency. And it's something that needs to happen, man. So I hope that the chain payments thing, like how far are you guys away from having that live and usable for a store to be able to sign up for that?
So we just launched our ninth alpha of the app. We're about to go ahead and release a beta to our early adopters, our investors, and our internal team within the next 4 days, actually.
No way.
So,
wow.
Yeah, this is going down. We've actually been live running API services since February of this year. So AERYUS as a platform has processed a little bit over $8.5 million worth of cryptocurrency transactions this year.
Wow.
Over 4,000 active blockchain wallets between Ethereum, Bitcoin, Litecoin, Zcash, Tron, and a couple of other wallets that we support, that are out there. So, we're running the race, man. We're actively pursuing our goal, and the number one goal is mass adoption of cryptocurrency in general.
Yeah, so like Sean was saying, kind of to digress a little bit, this is really important, and it's such a important on-ramp to have it at these merchants. I was just wondering, being a part of this, disruptive movement, what kind of like brick walls or red tape have you had to break your way through? What were some of the hardships of building this project? Kind of being a new world payment processing platform in a sense, and going against the legacies, trying to start up. What was it like?
So I think the number one barrier to entry that we face, I'm going to talk about this globally first. The number one barrier that we face is ease of use, right? So right now, the only place that you can really go to exchange and use your cryptocurrencies in a real world case is on one of the cryptocurrency exchanges, right? So
Yeah.
you go into your exchange account, you make a transfer to somebody, and it's a real arduous process, and it's one of those things that makes it not real unless you are, someone who's technically savvy and knows about exchanges and doesn't mind linking their bank account with a foreign third party.
Hmm.
So this is the number one global issue is ease of use. Here domestically, in North America, we're dealing with a lot of pushback from the regulatory landscape.
Hmm.
Like it doesn't matter what type of blockchain or cryptocurrency business that you're starting. We have the social media networks that completely shut us down. We have all of this pushback from federal legislation, regulators that are just so indecisive that it makes it hard to establish a really good foothold.
Yeah.
So for us, fortunately, we started overseas, and that's where our the bulk of our traffic comes from.
Okay.
Is Eastern Asia.
Nice. But you guys, like, you have a plan on kind of making a footprint in America and Canada as well?
100%. We actually just brought on a new team member, Jonathan Dusmore, who is a blockchain and cryptocurrency advocate and attorney based out of New York, who
Awesome.
has joined the team last week, who is putting together our entire domestic rollout strategy for our compliance section of AERYUS.
That's awesome, man. So I have a background in business to business sales. I did door to door and business to business for almost 8 years up here in Canada. So I know that going to businesses with new ideas and kind of cold calling them, it's a Herculean task, man. It's something that it's definitely a huge learning curve for new people. So what's your strategy to kind of roll the product out to businesses, like to go up to a mom and pop and try and get them using the AERYUS chain payments?
So the first thing that we want to do is we want to be one of the leaders in educating, right? So our main goal is to place cryptocurrency educational tools out in the market. We're launching in Q1 of next year a where to crypto map. So basically, anybody that accepts crypto can post their business or their location on the map and essentially kind of crowd fund the information
Yeah.
relates to where crypto is available, where you can spend it, and
Is it going to be? Are you going to have ATM locations on there as well?
100%. So we had some friends that we actually sat down with at Crypto Space US. They're rolling out a chain of blockchain ATMs all over the United States, and it's actually one of our goals is to partner with these guys and to make sure that we are reaching out and spreading the word.
So you're utilizing, sorry about that. You're utilizing your own blockchain technology for this, correct?
100%. So we
So,
host
so I was just
everything
curious,
live.
how does your token play a role on the platform? What's the utility behind it?
So Arius actually, yeah. So this is a great question. Used for minting our ERC 721 transactions. And I think this is, kind of our pitch and our differentiator, with the rest of the market is that we actually go ahead and we create a non-fungible token asset out of every single transaction that traverses our platform. So every time that you actually go ahead and you make a transaction, we burn a piece of Arius token to generate this ERC 721 non-fungible token asset.
No way. So basically, each transaction will have its own like unique 721 token that holds all the data for the transaction on it.
100% correct. So ERC 721 is a great spec that was written to really enhance, the Ethereum blockchain when I started looking at the spec, in January, February, it made so much sense to build a platform around such a great concept and tool within blockchain. We're limited in the amount of information that we can squeeze into a blockchain transaction. In my opinion, ERC 721 just completely opens up the floodgates to create a robust transaction.
So, what are some of the qualifications for listing or utilizing a cryptocurrency on the platform? I know that you said that you were using Bitcoin and other ones, correct?
Yeah.
And Tron, I know a lot of people in the chat just got excited that you were talking about Tron. I'm just curious, what are the qualifications that you look for?
Yeah, so essentially for us is, we're adopting and placing probably our top 10 projects, of course, on the platform by default. But we want to align with other projects that have micro communities, right? So, like for us, and like I said, we want to be a gateway tool. Like we're not. This doesn't have to be a situation where you're looking at these exchanges that are placing, these heavy requirements on what I'm going to call small businesses and blockchain that are looking for an opportunity to monetize their communities, right? So it's for us, it's really aligning with the community use case and ensuring that the actual token that traverses the platform, of course, meets certain security specs, because we don't want any holes within our infrastructure at the end of the day.
Yeah, of course. You got to protect yourselves too, right?
Yeah, hosting these blockchain nodes is really tricky, and making sure to keep up with what's going on out here. I don't know if you guys saw today, but Ethereum miners now have to watch their back.
Yeah.
With a simple port, a default port that we all use, when setting up our mining equipment, now being subject to security holes.
What are some of the features that you're rolling out, or what's the roadmap look like for next year? Because we're running out the end of this year. I mean, there's not much left to talk about for 2018.
Well, I think the biggest thing on your roadmap for 2018 was supporting Satoshi's ball.
Check.
Nailed it.
But what are you looking most forward to in 2019? What's the David versus Goliath thing, that you're most looking forward to for next year, and how do you plan on attacking that goal?
So, for us, it's a really big deal to make sure that we build out our DApp, and in making sure that we can take cryptocurrency payments to a seamless place across the internet. And for me, I really feel like that our concept for the AERYUS DApp is basically something that is going to be a game changer. I mean, similar to the way that when everybody started using like the EOS dApps, and starting to see like, oh wow, I can actually spend my cryptocurrency right in my browser on the website where I'm at. It makes a lot of sense, and it just cleans up the process, and this is like MetaMask meets Amazon, is the idea that we have.
Okay.
And allowing everybody that has mortar or a e-commerce store to basically accept and utilize cryptocurrency by a simple DApp integration that we're going to build out, I think is probably my most ambitious goal for next year.
So when do you think you're going to be releasing at least like a beta version of the app next year?
So this DApp, we're looking at Q2, the end of Q2, to actually go ahead and to have that in the Chrome plugin store. So we'll see exactly how it rolls out. At the end of the day, for us, is all about speed and consistency.
Yeah.
So we're gonna play with this a little bit and see what happens with Plasma, and the new rollout for the upgrade that's happening to Ethereum in January,
Yeah, yeah.
and some real critical infrastructure decisions that are going to drive that.
So I had some pretty interesting conversations at Satoshi's Ball with Data Bunker. Actually, shout out to Data Bunker for the $20 super chat. I really appreciate it. John and Toyo, everybody that's been super
Jackie.
chatting, Jackie, everybody's been super chatting. I really appreciate your support. But I had a really interesting conversation at Satoshi's Ball about the concept of what would really appeal to more businesses than accepting Bitcoin as a cryptocurrency. The most appealing pitch would be a payment processor for stable coins, like the Gemini dollar, the True USD or Tether, these things that have the same freedoms and ease of use and it just feels like a Bitcoin, but it's not, right? Like it doesn't ride volatility. Has that been something that you have been thinking about adding stable coins to this, or is this something that you think may have have legs to it? Because I found it a really interesting conversation when it came to like the merchant and customer of traditional customers and this new technology and the whole thing of stable coins becoming like very popular since the Gemini dollar launch. I was just wondering what your perspective of stable coin cryptocurrency payments looks like.
Well, we actually had the opportunity to sponsor and be a keynote speaker at Stablecoin NYC 2 weeks ago. So we all know that stablecoins have a special place in the future of cryptocurrency in general and the whole blockchain ecosystem. I'm going to clue you in on a little bit of our roadmap for chain payments that'll probably make and answer your question, really well. And I'm glad for everybody that did stick around to kind of get the chance to know. The actual infrastructure of chain payments as an application on your phone is designed to be an intelligent one. So we're building not only your support for stablecoins, but we're also building support for all of your collectibles. So
Oh, wow. Holy crap. Yo, hold on. You just totally blew my mind. I'm sorry to interrupt. That is friggin' awesome.
right. So now I don't know if you guys had a chance to look at the MVP on the site or anything like that, but we have a couple of Easter eggs hidden in some of our social media and stuff where you can actually see what our asset management looks like within the app. And just imagine being able to take and have your collectible right there on your phone and swap it, with between you and Sean, like right now. So you're like, hey, guess what? I've got this crypto kitty, and I'm gonna send it to you. Well, now you have a way to do it without logging into, MetaMask and using MetaMask to, kind of manage this whole entire process. Now we can take and really interact with digital assets on the blockchain in a whole nother fluid manner.
So, do you see a possibility of me buying a Starbucks coffee with a crypto kitty?
Well, I'm not gonna go that far
Would it
to
be like
say.
a venti kitty cappuccino or something?
Yeah, yeah. The crypto per latte.
Now we're talking. Now we're talking. The future of crypto, it's going to hold a lot of surprises, and I would not say that it's not possible to, look to monetize, these collectibles, in such a way. But just the fact of knowing that you can manage and maintain them
Yeah, yeah.
outside your browser, I feel like is a really important step.
Well,
And
dude, everything needs to be mobile. Everything needs to be accessible on people's phones. It's just the way things have to progress. Back to stablecoins really quick. What do you find? What's your feeling on gold-backed stablecoins or like precious metal-backed or commodity-backed stablecoins compared to ones that are pegged to the U.S. dollar?
So I think they all have a place, right? And at the end of the day, what we want is we want a clear audit chain to the source by which whatever this backing is. As we've seen, with some of the uncertainty in Tether and things like that, it just precious metals are good,
Yeah.
right? I mean, for the longest time, the U.S. dollar was pegged to gold. We don't know if that's the case anymore in reality,
No, we know
but
it's not. We know it's
Right.
not.
Hashtag
But
woke.
Hashtag Santa's not real also. If
yeah,
anyone needed a bubble burst who's watching this.
hold on. Let me cover my little one's ears. But you know, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, we all want the ability to really have a level of transparency. And if someone wants to use precious metals for the backing for their stablecoin, then so be it. I met a really interesting project at our stablecoin NYC event, which was Canacoin, based out of Canada. You know, these guys are in Toronto. They decided to take the exact same approach, but instead of using like gold, they chose silver.
Yep.
You know, so you know, hats off to the guys that are, you know, out there, and you know, they're taking the dive, and they're like, yes, we're going to go ahead and we're going to build a stable coin based on precious metals.
So I'm just curious how the platform profits, right? Like these payment processing and these, you know, terminals for businesses in a traditional legacy system, it is pretty expensive. That's why this is such a opportune moment for small businesses to kind of
Get away from Visa and
exactly and kind of get
MasterCard.
into accepting cryptocurrencies. I'm just wondering, how does Arius make money, and what are kind of like the fees on the small business end for accepting crypto through this terminal?
Yeah, so it's kind of a twofold equation, right? So there's always transactions to be mined. So a lot of us in hosting our own blockchain infrastructure is it's really important for us to make sure that, you know, we're able to go ahead and process transactions quickly. Um, and we do this by actually hosting our own blockchain nodes, and you know, with our experience in mining infrastructure, um, mining a lot of our own transactions and posting them to the blockchain.
Yep.
So we're not doing this on a private blockchain, just so everybody knows. This is on, you know, a public blockchain, so we are actually processing transactions on chain, not off chain, and then, you know, putting them on chain and hoping that, you know, everything goes right for the next 100 years. This is all on-chain transactions that will be processed through the platform.
Awesome. I want to talk about Arius One. So I'm looking on the website. Do you guys plan on introducing your own terminal system for POS, and also for the chain payment? I saw that you guys had an image of Arius, like a debit card. So can you touch on that real quick?
Yeah, having that physical terminal rather than what I've been seeing recently is a lot of these
QR
merchants
codes
using
and
their BlackBerry phones.
Yeah.
Have you seen that? Like in
It
Venezuela,
just feels
Church's
sketchy
Chicken
going
is
in.
accepting Dash, and they're using a BlackBerry phone and a Dash wallet to accept it.
Hey, at least
So this
they're
makes
doing
it
it.
so much more legit and
Yeah.
professional appealing than going into a small business and saying, "Hey, do you have a spare phone? And do you mind if all your employees are on your
Yeah.
wallet?"
We got to grab Rico from the back. He's the only one with the wallet on his phone.
Exactly, exactly. So this is a really cool concept. So I'm happy Sean brought it up. Yeah, I would love for you to dive into this physical terminal.
Yeah, so Arius One is an Android-based terminal. So we've been playing around with a couple of vendors, and we've found that, you know, the point of sale terminals are evolving so fast right now, that it's really hard to put our finger on what exactly it's going to look like. But this is the best prototype that I could put together for you guys based on the software that we've already built. So the idea is that you'll have a wireless terminal that will sit at a merchant location that will interface with the Arius network. So this terminal is responsible for managing all of the settings that a merchant has placed within their Arius account, and allows them to go ahead and accept payment, and it harnesses all of those settings that merchant has put in place upon their account, whether it be stablecoin support, whether it be, certain cryptocurrencies that they want to support at their location, how they want to cash out instantly, or if they want to hold, if they're a hodl vendor, they can hodl, if they want instant cash out, they can instantly cash out. So Arius One is meant to be that interface for the merchant to the consumer device in terms of chain payments to application, but also to support other smartphone applications that can accomplish the same goals as well.
That's awesome. So I've heard obviously with crypto, I mean, obviously one of the major security issues is people using their mobile phones. I mean, obviously our phones aren't super secure. What kind of security issues do you foresee with these wireless terminals? Like, do you guys have any steps in place so that people can't be like cloning the terminal or messing? I don't know. I'm not a hacker, so I don't know what
Right,
these
it's
guys do.
being
But
done already with
yes,
the terminals and businesses. Like you go to an ATM machine, you
I
have to kind
always
of tug
check.
on it.
I
Yeah, you
always
got to
check
tug
now,
on it and
man. I've
stuff.
seen
So,
those. Yeah.
yeah, is there any kind of like security prevention or anything that you're like not now worried about, but may have to come and face?
Well, at the end of the day, a lot of what is happening with, merchant terminals is going towards the adaptation of near field communication. So NFC is going to be one of the predominant ways that you interact with merchant terminals in the future.
Hmm.
And it's going to kind of shy away from the whole idea of, like swiping mag stripe or, even chip cards like over the next 3 to 5 years. We're not so much concerned about the terminals being hacked as we are about the custody of that terminal. So the physical custody of that terminal is extremely important. It They can get up and grow legs, and then on the other side of this, a merchant is basically risking, losing a terminal and losing their pretty much one of their main ways of processing transactions on our network. So that's the main physical security is the main concern.
So do you foresee these terminals sitting beside like a legacy terminal, or is this going to be taking the place of, your standard Visa or debit card terminal?
So this will definitely sit right beside it,
Okay.
and the idea is that through our APIs, and our APIs are well documented and like I said, in play now. So the idea is that we will also support legacy terminals that choose to actually accept cryptocurrency that have the ability to display barcodes, 3D barcodes. So
Okay.
they could use Arius One, or they could use the Arius API infrastructure. And there's some partnerships that we're in discussion with now for some really large terminal providers, here in North America.
That's awesome. Touch on the cards, man. Are you guys planning on making an Arius debit card?
Dibs, I want one.
Yeah, shoddy second.
Nice, nice. So, this is one of the biggest, this is one of the holy grails of being able to go ahead and put a project like this together is the opportunity to give your users a physical card that they can basically utilize their assets with.
Yeah.
And, we're in the process of seeking the underwriting for having our own MasterCard that will allow us to pretty much give you an Arius debit card, similar to the way that BitPay does and 10x and all these guys. So at the end of the day, yes, there will be an Arius debit card, and it will link to all of your Arius assets.
That's sick, man. I'm looking forward to just more of that coming into the space, because we saw Ken uses a BitPay card. I've got tons of connections globally, and I see them using BitPay cards all the time, and we have none of them in Canada, so I can't wait to start messing around with a few of them in
Yeah,
Canada.
you can't even buy you can't even sell on Coinbase, can you, here in
Canada now.
Boo.
Well, yeah, I don't know. Now that Coinbase is doing direct to PayPal in the US, I don't know if that's gonna with a
that might help.
VPN, people might be able to do it in Canada. I don't know.
No, you go through KYC on
I
Coinbase.
have Canadian bitcoins 10-minute drive from my house. They've got the cheapest rates in Canada for buying and selling. They're so much more convenient than going to an ATM. You actually get to deal with a person there.
One of the things I like to kind of bring up to my guests, which is always like a curveball, is your competition. Who's doing this? And there are other companies that are doing it. I'm just curious if there's any that you're kind of taking lessons from, or that you think they could take some lessons from you. I'm not a big fan of monopolies. I don't think that it's right to support one project doing something. It's more beneficial to support many projects doing the same thing. Even if more than one survive, the better for all of us as
Yeah.
end
I try to
users.
shop at way more than $1.
Yeah, way more than $1. So just wondering, like, what is one of your, reputable or more known competition, and what kind of sets you apart from them and makes you different?
So I mean, like one of the the biggest projects that I think that has the most potential is Pundi X, right? So the guys from Pundi X have pretty much put their entire project out there for the world to see, and they're very much similar to what Arius wants to represent, here in the market as well. But I feel like that they're a great project. They have a lot of the same attributes and qualities that we do, but they have their own play on the market that they
Hmm.
want or that they want to solve, and their own problem that they're looking to really solve in the market. So Putney is one of those. 10x also, and I mean, I guess we can even say, the guys from Cash App, even though that they're not going to say that they are in this space, but we all know that they're silently waiting
Yeah.
for things to change.
Right.
So
Well, that's kind of what I see is like the bigger competition isn't, what, Pontiacs or any of these other companies. I think it is the Cash App. Yeah, they have, started to establish themselves as the go-to pay, I guess mom and pop shop would be the way to say it, like small business owners kind of go to for a payment processor. And they've even gotten these people to start using their own, Square hardware, and Square is Cash App. So I'm just
yeah.
waiting for that, to roll out to where Square already has this physical terminal at a lot of these small businesses and
But
eventually
you know
roll out
what?
this feature.
You say that, but I don't see. I mean, maybe in Canada it's different, but I don't think I've ever seen a Square payment processor at an actual brick and mortar
In the
business.
US, everywhere.
In Canada, I
Yeah.
never see it. I've never seen it, not once. I've seen like individual people selling, stuff that have it.
We're like the crypto yin yang twins. It's all different over here.
Everything's frozen and backwards in Canada.
Yeah, no, but I mean, like that's a really good point that you bring up the Cash App thing, because I think what they're doing is potentially what I want to see you doing with AERYUS and other companies doing with these payment terminals for cryptocurrencies. I'm worried about these businesses kind of being blindsided by this Cash App or Square Card or whatever, taking over as a monopoly, and taking advantage and making it no cheaper, no better on the merchant's end or the customer's end, and not passing on any benefits. The benefits will come from these kind of companies like
Yeah,
Areas.
but the benefits are going to come from competition in the space too.
Yep.
I mean, like there's been competition in the payment processor, that point of sale system. There's been competition in that space for 40 years now.
Right.
There's still a ton of players, and there's still innovators, and there's still new companies coming out and doing new things.
So in this bear market, kind of segues into what has been your motivation to kind of keep going forward, since a lot of companies and projects have kind of tapped out. We're even seeing bigger companies as, Ethereum and Blockstream and, big companies laying off people. You're still pushing forward. Just what is your motivation in this bear market?
So, again, I come from the foundation of what this whole open source community represented almost, 20, 25 plus years ago, when I first heard of Linus Torvalds and him putting Linux and all of the source code out there for people to build and create their own projects and create communities, right? So this is exactly what I want Arius to be, at any point from now into the future, is an opportunity for people that have a like mind and have the same exact goals as far as fostering, community involvement, and just great ideas, right? So all of the people on my team know me. They love me. We are very much a family. We work together, and we will always work together, no matter if it's here on this project or wherever the road takes us to. But Arius right now is going to live because all of us believe in it.
Seems like you guys are laser focused, man. That's what I like to hear.
Yeah.
We listen. Where can people find AERYUS? Like, do you guys have any events lined up? Are you guys planning on going to any conferences in 2019?
Yeah, a lot of my listeners are really interested in bounty programs, ways to participate with platforms and kind of earn tokens. So I'm just curious, where can people go to participate and contribute to the project? Are there any kind of bounty programs or anything like where people can get involved? And like Sean said, where can they go to find more information?
Yeah, so I mean, join our Telegram group. It's really it's a great group. Follow us, get us on Discord. We don't have the bounty live right now, but since you talk about that, Ken, why don't we just go ahead and spark up the bounty for the last week of the crowd sale? So last 7 days of the crowd sale, we're gonna get the bounty live on Arius.io, and you guys can thank Ken and Sean for that. It sounds like a great idea. We opened it up at the beginning of our project, and let's do it again. You guys can go right there, Arius.io, sign up for the bounty, and participate.
Game on.
Much appreciated, guys. You check out the bounty program. I'll make sure I post that link in the description box below, and I'll be doing it on Twitter. I'll be showing you my participations in the bounties as well. Yeah. All right, guys, don't forget to go ahead and pound that thumbs up button, click subscribe, and flick the alert bell. Big shout out to Sean Hebert from JustLearnCrypto.com for hosting Satoshi's Ball.
What?
And our sponsors over at AERYUS.io.
Yeah, thank you so much. That Satoshi's Ball was awesome. It would have been 10 times better with you guys there, but you were there. We all felt you there in spirit. And guys, make sure you're following along, and we're going to be sharing a lot more content for AERYUS.
Thanks, guys, for having us. Really appreciate it.
Have a day.
Take care, Nick.
Cheers.